While most men aspire to have a woman who appears to have it all, there are many Sigma men who choose to stay away. People think these men fear approaching women or are intimidated by their fake perfection. But this could not be further from the truth. While these women may appear intimidating, there are actually many other reasons why Sigma men don't approach them. We live in a world where women are increasingly striving for perfection. It's like a competition. Who can be the most perfect? This standard of perfection often comes at a cost, as these women are usually chasing the wrong things. Even though they may look picture perfect on the outside, it often masks a deep insecurity and fragility of the mind. However, Sigma men don't play into this game of one-upmanship. They are wise and mature enough to know that a woman's perfection is only skin deep. So why don't Sigma males approach these women? Here are the top 11 reasons. 1. They all look the same with lip injections and perfect makeup. Many women in today's world rely too much on superficial beauty tricks to try and look perfect. They think the latest lip injections or trendy makeup are the key to a perfect life. What they don't realize is that these things will never replace a genuine personality. Sure, for most men, these physical traits are what initially attract them, thinking that these women are the perfect trophy wife. But Sigma men look right past that and search for something much deeper. So when a woman relies too much on these tricks, Sigma males won't even bother to approach her. Don't get me wrong, they still appreciate beauty. It just has to be real. These men don't want to waste their time on someone who can't offer anything more than surface-level beauty. It's like having a great piece of art, but it's just a copy with no real value. While the artwork might be pretty, it's not worth anything. 2. They appear inaccessible with their air of superiority and high-end lifestyle. If we're being honest, many women today often put up an air of superiority that's hard to penetrate. Instagram is full of this type of women flaunting their high-end lifestyle. From having the latest designer handbags to frequenting only the most high-end hotels, these women can come across as inaccessible to guys who don't have the same financial means. But this is not the main problem. The real problem is that many of these women have a daddy behind them to fund their lifestyle and maintain this image. Without the daddy, they are nothing. I think I don't have to explain what daddy means. This is just the reality of our modern world. Sigma men recognize this quickly and don't even bother approaching such women because they know it's a dead end. They would never compete for the attention of these women. Not only do they know that it's a waste of time, but it's also beneath them. Why would a man with true self-respect and confidence want to compete with other men for a low-value woman's attention? It's just silly. 3. They are all about seeking validation and eye-catching attention. Whether it's selfies on Instagram or altering their bodies to try and fit a certain standard of beauty, these women are constantly trying to feed their need for external validation. While searching for validation is natural, it can become toxic when taken to extremes. Women who rely too much on external validation often end up doing desperate and embarrassing things in public. This doesn't just turn off Sigma men, but most men in general. No man wants to be with a woman who's constantly seeking attention from other men. It can be a major buzzkill in the relationship, which is why Sigma men would rather stay away from this type of woman in the first place. They know that it's just not worth it. It's like having a poisonous snake in your house. You might appreciate its beauty, but it's not worth the risk. While these women may appear beautiful on the outside, they can be damaging to a relationship in the long run. 4. They're like night and day compared to their social media profiles. It's no secret that many women today put a lot of effort into crafting the perfect social media profile. From perfectly edited pictures to clever captions, these women do whatever they can to get as much attention as possible. They use filter apps and photo editing software to make themselves look as perfect as possible. But here's the thing. These women often don't even resemble who they are on their social media profiles. The real-life version of these women is often much different. They have all these false images of themselves that they can't live up to, which can be a major turnoff for Sigma men. They don't want to date someone constantly trying to maintain a perfect image on social media. It's just not realistic. Sigma men would much rather date a woman comfortable in her own skin and doesn't rely on technology to mask their flaws. The truth is that a real relationship will be much more fulfilling than a perfect image of one. 5. They aren't attracted to loyalty or integrity. It's all about money. These days, money is the new king. Many women out there are more attracted to a man's wallet than anything else. They don't care about loyalty or integrity. It's all about the money. Doesn't matter if the guy is a total jerk as long as he can pull out his wallet and pay for the tab. It's no wonder why so many women today are considered gold diggers. No matter how much money a guy has, Sigma men will not waste their time trying to impress these women. These women are only after one thing, and it's not what they want out of a relationship. Sigma men care about finding someone with similar values and beliefs, not just someone who can flash around some cash. Money can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy a real connection. And that's what Sigma men are looking for. There's a saying that goes, if you want to know someone's true colors, watch how they act when money is involved. 6. They constantly worry about their appearance and fitting into the perceived ideal standard. No matter how hard they try, many women today just can't seem to fit into the perceived ideal standard. This is especially true in our modern society, where certain beauty standards are lauded as being perfect, while others are shamed or ignored. Women around the world feel immense pressure to look a certain way and measure up to this ideal standard, whether it's with their body, skin color, hair texture, or anything else. The problem is that many women become so focused on fitting into this standard that they forget to focus on more important things. Sigma men aren't interested in women who are only concerned with their appearances. They want someone who knows her worth and doesn't rely solely on outside validation to find happiness. A woman who is aware of her beauty and confident in her own skin will always hold more appeal than one who constantly tries to fit into someone else's standard. While looks certainly matter, they are far from the only thing that Sigma men care about. 7. They're always comparing themselves, feeling the pressure of comparison anxiety. Social media makes it easy for women today to get wrapped up in the need to compare themselves with others. Everywhere they look, there is a new ideal standard of beauty that seems impossible to attain. This creates an environment where women are constantly comparing themselves to others. Whether it's their friends or people they follow on social media, they're always looking for something to measure up to. This isn't healthy for anyone and is a major turnoff for Sigma men. They don't want someone constantly worrying about what others think of her or trying to fit into a certain mold. Comparing yourself to others can lead to a lot of insecurities and unhappiness. Not only is it a huge waste of time, but it can also lead to depression and other mental health problems. Sigma men would never want to get involved with someone who is so focused on measuring up to other people's standards. It would be too much of a burden, not to mention a major energy drain. 8. They have a sense of entitlement that turns off most Sigma men. It's no secret that many women have a sense of entitlement. It could be anything from expecting special treatment to demanding expensive gifts and vacations. This type of attitude doesn't sit well with Sigma men. They don't want to date someone who's always expecting something from them. It's just not their cup of tea. It's like they're being taken advantage of. And no man wants to feel like that. While wanting nice things is perfectly normal, many women often take it too far. It gets to the point where they forget about the other person's feelings and just expect things to go their way. Not only is this a huge turnoff, but it could also create resentment and hate in the long run. Imagine dealing with someone who always feels entitled to something. It could be a nightmare. There's no way a Sigma man would want to be in that situation. While they may be generous, They'll never take anyone's sense of entitlement for granted. 9. They are trying to look perfect just to impress big wallet guys. While not all women today are like this, a growing number of them are obsessed with looking perfect just to impress guys with deep pockets. They'll go out of their way to make sure their appearance is flawless. It's not so much about looking nice as it is about trying to score a high-status guy. It's a way for them to climb the social ladder and gain access to certain circles. They frequent places like exclusive clubs in the hopes of finding a wealthy guy to latch onto. They make their plan clear, look perfect, and act the part. It's a ploy that Sigma men can see through from miles away. These women are like neon signs. They're usually overly polished and don't even try to look natural. They just want to snag a wealthy guy so they can live a high life. While it's no crime to want more out of life, Sigma would prefer to stay away from these women. They don't want someone who's only worried about money and status. A real connection is so much more than that. 10. They rely heavily on social media for understanding and acceptance. Social media has become an integral part of many women's lives. It's a great way to connect with people and share stories, but it can also be a dangerous place to find validation. Some women become so reliant on the approval of others that they start to define themselves by how many likes they get or how many followers they have. They think their worth completely depends on how much attention they get from complete strangers. This can lead to dangerous behaviors as they become addicted to attention. Some of them have become so dependent on their followers' validation that they have started to feel incomplete without it. It's like a never-ending cycle. They post something with the hope of getting approval from others. They get it, and their approval rating goes up. But it's never enough. They always need more. While it's great to get recognition, you should never rely on it to determine your self-worth. It is no wonder why Sigma men would run away from such an unhealthy mindset. 11. They've completely forgotten the power of their true value and beauty. In their pursuit of fitting into the perceived ideal standard, many women today have forgotten the power of their true value and beauty. While it's important to take care of your appearance and put forth your best self, it doesn't mean you should completely forget who you really are. Far too often, women today focus so much on looking perfect that they forget about their other qualities. It's almost like they're trying to become someone else, and all this just to fit into a certain box. While it may seem like a good idea in the short term, it's not a sustainable way to live in the long run. Beauty is far more than just what you look like on the outside. It's also about personality, intelligence, and values. Sigma men prefer a woman who is comfortable in her own skin and can be herself without needing to fit a certain standard. They want someone they can connect with more deeply, not just superficially.